Hello everybody, it's Rachel aka Pencil Butter, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about what I think is quite possibly every artist's best friend, and that is the white gel pen. Now, white gel pens are useful not only for alcohol markers, but they also work really well with watercolors, acrylics. You can even use them over colored pencils and stuff like that. And they just really add a lot of pop to your drawings. Like right now, this one looks kind of dull and lifeless. The colors are okay and the line art's fine, but it's just missing something. And that something is this guy here. Now, as useful as the white gel pen is, it's really easy to go overboard and want to add white highlights to everything. But in fact, not everything needs a stark white highlight. I know we're all tempted to add tons and tons of gel pen sparkles, but there is a point where it becomes overkill. So do try to use it in moderation. If you feel like you need to add highlights to something that doesn't need a stark white highlight, something that isn't shiny, then I recommend using colored pencil for that. And if you don't have colored pencils that you can use, I will actually show you a way at the end of this video to use the white gel pen, but to actually tone it down a little bit so it isn't white. So the first and most common way that you're going to use the white gel pen is to add some highlights to the eyes. And I actually usually do this the second I finish coloring the eyes because it drives me crazy how dead and vacant the eyes look without the gel pen highlights. I usually also add a little bit to the end of the nose and the lips, and let's bring out our teeth again too. I'll also use the white gel pen to highlight some areas on the skin. If my skin is pale, it doesn't really look so well on darker skin. That would be one of those times that you would want to use colored pencil. Another really good way to use the white gel pen is to add some shine to gemstones and jewels. I'm also going to use it to create a bit of a hem here on this white sheer fabric, and also define some edges. Another good way to use the white gel pen is to actually go around some objects to make them stand out for each other. For instance, here on her shirt, I used it to separate the sleeves from the bodice of the dress, so you could see that they were actually separate pieces. I also like to use it to make the character pop out from the background. And of course, why would I put her on a dark blue background if I wasn't going to add some stars? Now, depending on how shiny you want the hair to be, you can use straight gel pen on the hair as well. But this is one of those things that I usually do with colored pencil. Okay, now I'm going to show you guys how to tone it down a little bit, because I feel like her shirt does need some sort of detailing and minor highlights, but I don't want them to be stark white. But first off, I am going to go ahead and add the highlights and details that I want with the gel pen. Alright, at this point, everything I added to her shirt just looks really, really out of place to me, And actually, the highlights on her hair are kind of bugging me too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of the markers that I used on her shirt and actually just color back over the gel pen, being extremely careful to only color on the white pen. And just to add a little bit more depth, the areas where the shading is a little bit darker, I'm going to go in with a slightly darker marker. Sometimes if you go a little over the gel pen, it still looks fine. It just depends on the color that you're using. I actually used this little hack for a really, really long time before I started using colored pencils to add highlights to things. Alright, I think that looks a lot better than it did when we started. That just shows how much life you can bring to a drawing with a simple white gel pen.